Hopefully that should be a bit more. Okay, so let's resume.
Ooh, looks like my skills have increased.
Okay, last time we stopped by becoming a mage. We have some spells in our uh, mage spell book. Currently it's armor spell and an orb spell. We don't have identify, but I expect identify will probably do when we are back in an inn. So we'll keep that saved up. And Shadow's Kiss, 5 seconds per 3 levels. This is for healing an ally. We'll keep this one for now. And it seems like we can only use them once after resting. So hopefully we'll get more spells, maybe have multiple versions of each spell. It looks like we can equip the same spell multiple times. Yeah, we'll check that next time. We have already rusted quite a bit, so time has passed. So we'll proceed directly. And we'll go back to, I think today what we can do is we can go back to the hive over here and here and check out the Smoldering Corpse bar and a couple of NPCs we have missed last time. I presume we missed a couple of NPCs. I remember seeing certain names that we didn't click on, so maybe we'll go back and talk to a couple of those people and hopefully get some party members. Currently we're just with Mort, and yeah, it'd be nice to have a couple of more party members, especially when going into Buried Village and Trash Warrens. We found we encountered a lot of aggressive enemies, and we couldn't really. I mean, we got away somehow, but it wasn't a clean encounter, right? So yeah, so we'll head back to Smoldering Corpse and talk to any NPCs we meet on the way. And we want to talk to Nord here because we
All right.
found his sister, Amaris. Yeah. Someone comes to speak to Nord. Speak to Nord I. He suddenly breaks into a fit of hacking cups, then nods to himself. I spoke to your sister Amaris. What are you doing? What is this place? Okay. Spoke to your sister Amaris. You did? Not so happy he is. How's Nord's sister? Tell him of Amaris. Tell Nord, please. His excitement sets off a long series of hacking cuffs. When he can finally speak again, he asks, is Nord still a sister? Still pretty? So pretty? Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. She's a in the hive. She's doing well and is worried for you. Yeah, she is. She's a servant now at the tavern in Hive. She's doing well. Lie. Yes, I did. She's a whore and one so foul I doubt I'd be with her even free of charge. He'll tell the truth. Not so pleased to know his sister is alright. He looks as if he's going to cry for a moment, then swallows out. Anything more? Anything more? She is said for not to hear. Yes, she wanted you to have these copper comments. She will also visit you as soon as she can find the time. So if we can keep the comments if we say this.
Updated my journal.
That's almost 100. I think, yeah, we lose 100 crores. Lost 100 copper. Node's head stopped nodding abruptly and his jaw drops as you hand him 100 coins. Beneath the dirt brown hood, his eyes gleam with joy. Such wonderful news it is. Good, wonderful news. Aye, Node thanks ye, and thanks ye again, and thanks ye 1,000 times more. Glad I could help. Did we just finish that quest? Completed. Delivering to my find Miriam. No, we did not complete it. Crystal Wands, Black Rose, Help Ingress, Jelai. Wow, we did complete it. Where is the find Amaris for Node? I found Node's sister Amaris and told him where she was. I'm invested in this story. I want to see if it goes somewhere. Probably not, maybe. Marrowfront, oh, the Marrowfront has returned. Great. Step all, I mean, farewell. At least Not at least. I think it's just limited to this map. So we'll return back to Smoldering Corpse and hopefully talk to any other interesting NPCs on the way.
Done.
1 year. You see a shady looking fellow standing before you, picking his teeth with what appears to be a tiny metal fork. His chest is covered by patchwork armor adorned with large spikes, and a long knife hangs at his side. You notice he's missing his right ear.
Updated my journal.
He regards you coolly from the shadows, as if sizing you up. I said greetings, what's the matter? Your other ear not working? I had some questions for you. The 1 year tiefling scowls at you threateningly. Pike off, Burke, or I'll have your guts for garters. Yeah, gatters. If it's gatters you're after, I just happen to have a pair. Your mother left them in my bed last night. I'll have your guts for gay garters. I don't know what garters is. I don't know what this insult is. It's probably an insult, right? Let me check what garters is. Garter. Conditioning worn around the leg. Hold up a stocking. Or around arm. Hold up a sleeve. Pike of Berk, or I'll have your guts. I'll have your guts for garters. So garters is something that you like have on your stockings to hold it to your hips. So it's like one of those things that you can see people wearing as an undergarment. So yeah, now I see. I think I get what this insult means. Ignore his threats and walk away. I don't care about you. Frightened Porphyrion. Porphyron. Porphyron. Every inch of this man's skin is covered in a web of black lines. It's as if some artist chose to accentuate every crease in his flesh with a quill pen. The overall effect is such that even when his face shows no expression, he appears to be frowning. Greetings. Illustrated man. This one has a name. This one is called Porphyron. The man's voice is like a gong. As he speaks, the lines on his face bend and settle into a series of spherical patterns. Wow. This one would know. Why do you address this one? I want to ask you some questions about the city. This one would have you know. This one cannot answer your questions. The lines on his face twist into angles, then split into a mess of scribbles. This one has only recently stepped foot in this place of walls. Alright then, but I have to ask you, why do these lines upon your face move? So it's not a natural movement. I thought that it's just his expression twisting and the accentuated lines are just outlining his expression, but it looks like the lines have a like mind of their own, and it's not just a natural accentuation. The lines show anger. Do you take offense? The lines slowly straighten, forming into gentle curves. No offense was meant. Will you accept many apologies? What is happening? Lines show anger. Do you take offense? The lines slowly straighten, forming into gentle curves. No offense was meant. Will you accept the many apologies of this one? No offense taken. Why are you angry? This one tells of event recent. Did you know this one was beset by three? The three demanded an item of this one. This one feared an attack. What does this one do? This one surrendered the item. Well, you were right to be afraid. If there were three, then they might have killed you had you not given up the item. Did you know this one was beset by three? The three demanded an item of this one. This one feared an attack. What does this one do? This one surrendered the item. Is it one of the thugs? They usually travel in packs of three. Well, you were right to be afraid. If there were three, they might have killed you. I don't know. Okay. This one has been misunderstood. The lines on his face become angled, then smooth into curves again. This one did not fear being killed. This one feared killing the three. Oh my god. Okay. Well, if you could have killed them, why did you let them rob you? This one walks the path of a warrior. Many weapons have walked with this one. The fist, the blade, the stave, the hatchet, the smiter. These tools are known to this one. That's not much of an explanation. Again, if you are a warrior with much training, why let them rob you? This one is forbidden to attack. The lines ripple across his face as he speaks. If this one has struck at 3 in anger, the vow of non-violence would be unmade. Vow of non-violence? You are a warrior and a pacifist? This one is unfamiliar with your speech. What is this pacifist? Never mind. Why do you train so much if you are not permitted to attack another? This one is the order of Eritage. This one is of the order of Eritage. We await the final days where all will be called to battle. The training and skills of this one, they are to be kept silent until then. In the meantime, will you let yourself be robbed in the street without defending yourself? You know, every second sentence is a way to get out of this conversation, but it changes every time, at least in subtle ways. It's not always farewell. It's corresponds to what is being said here every time. The second line. Since you won't fight, any chance you could talk these thieves into returning your item? This one addresses the 3 thieves. What happens? The request of this one are met with scorn. The 3 will not return the item. I could go see if I could get the item back for you. I could go beat them like dogs and take back what they stole. I could go get the item back for you if you could pay me for my services. I really want to say the second sentence, but I'll go with the first one. This one was snagged. Why would you bring violence to the 3 that have robbed this one? Well, if they aren't smart enough to hand it over when I ask, things could get ugly. Why would you bring violence? Would you bring violence to the 3 that have robbed this one? This one must ask, would you bring violence? Well, if they aren't smart enough to hand it over when I ask, things could get ugly. Not if I can help it. Okay. I don't think I can help you, farewell. Yeah, not if I can, I really want to beat them up, but let's say not if I can help it. This one fears. A message absent of violence will not be understood. The lines of the man's face form into a series of ellipses. Jesus Christ. This one is not opposed to you trying. Alright then, what is this item you have lost? The item is this, a rope of black and red prayer beads worn around the neck. The worth of these beads is not measured in copper. The worth of these beads is measured in faith. Alright then, I'll see if I can find this necklace. Do you know where these thugs might be? This one knows where the angry words were traded and the item lost. By the bar that burns inside. The 3 were outside that place, dressed in black and red. 3 robbers dressed in red and black outside a bar that burns on the inside. That can't be too hard to find.
My journal.
I met a strange man in the hive with shifting lines on his face. He claims to be a soldier from some religious order, but his vows won't let him raise his hand in violence against another. He said a group of thugs in the hive had taken his necklace of prayer beads from him. He said he had seen the thugs by a bar that burns inside, and that they were dressed in red and black. I told him I'd go fetch his necklace for him. This sounds like a Smoldering Corpse bar, but we haven't seen the inside of the bar yet, but yeah, that's what it sounds like. Davos, Fleece. Let's talk to Fleece. You see a man who is looking around at the building with some confusion. He looks lost and is mumbling to himself. Greetings. The man looks relieved. At last, I beg your indulgence, good sir. I seem to have gotten turned around in this maze of streets. He chuckles uncomfortably. I'm afraid this area of city is somewhat. He glanced around apprehensively. Unknown to me. The residents seem most unwilling to extend aid to a visitor. He looks at you hopefully. Could I prevail upon you to help me, perchance? He speaks like such a well-educated, formal, noble kind of person. Depends on the kind of help you need. Certainly, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? You're on your own. If I were you, I'd get out of this area as soon as you can. Depends on the kind of help you need. I seek the house of my aunt Margaret. She is reported to dwell in a house close to the mortuary, but the street layout seems to have changed since my last visit. Wow, okay. Do you know of the house of which I speak? I do. I can direct you there. Truth. I'm afraid I have never heard of such a place. Hmm. The man frowns in disappointment. I suppose it would have been too much good fortune to hope that you would know such a place. He nods slightly in thanks. Well, I thank you for your time, good sir. It's most welcome on these streets. Farewell. You're about to turn away when you suddenly have a feeling that something is amiss. Suspicious, you glance at the man again, just in time to see him withdrawing his hand from your purse. You can't be sure, but you think he might have taken something from you. Wow, really? He's such a well-spoken man. Grab his hand. Hey, what are you doing? Bait the man into pickpocketing you again. Observe his technique. Attack him. I wonder what. Do we need like dexterity to grab his hand? You're not fast enough. He yanks his hand back before he can grab it. With a yelp, he bolts running down the street. God damn it! You shouldn't have done that. All right then. Get him! Get him! Get please! We have lost so much. And we should quick save more. This is not a. You know, last time we should kill this person because last time we lost.
What's up, you leatherhead? Yeah?
Okay, let's. I just want to check what's
Okay.
in his possession. There's nothing interesting in his possession. It's just. I wish there was a note or something which should explain what his intentions were. But seems that's not the case. We're missing a lot of unique and nice conversations by ending it prematurely by killing whoever is talking to us. So let's quick save more. I really don't want this incident to keep happening again because I want to get a deeper understanding of these characters before we, especially characters like him. We met another person like earlier in a different episode where he was trying to get into like he was asking us directions to gathering dust bar and he was pretending to be a dustman but he didn't know the details of dustman so he was possibly impersonating a dustman so we wanted to know who he was but he also darted away from us we could have grabbed his hand we didn't we asked a question but he ran away this time we tried to grab his hand but yeah it seems we are not fast enough.
Done.
Mult. This man appears less dour and wary of passerby than people around him. He moves with an upbeat gait, casually scanning the ground to either side of him as he goes. As you approach him, he nods a friendly greeting. Okay, he seems to be, uh, yeah, he's in a cheery mood. Greetings. Hello, Cutter. Say, yes, scenes. Any deaders about? None nearby. No. I had some questions. You can find one there on the top left. Just go straight before someone gets gets to you. Too bad, too bad. He shrugs. Had some questions. Had some questions, did he? Ask away then. What are you looking for? Can you tell me about this area? Okay. What are you looking for? Deaders, of course. Don't you recognize the robes of a collector? He grabs hold of the cloth and holds it up for your inspection. Collectors? Ah, collectors. He indicates his ragged brown robes. These here are a collector's robes, Cutter. Any poor sword you see wearing these? Me, for instance, her is most likely looking for deaders. Bodies to sell at the mortuary. He shrugs. Whatever it takes to get by in Hive, right? Haha. Do the collectors work together? He laughs sadly. Hells no. We all dress the same, but there's only so many deaders to go around. We band up usually, and competing bands, packs, gangs, whatever you like to call them, aren't none too friendly with one another. Are there rival packs of collectors near here? He notes. Sure as sigils round. Okay, so sigils round, okay. We got that information. Most collectors in the hive call Kippin Rackpicker Square in as a dumb just north here through large gate. It's mostly run by Sharegraves Lados now since we fought most of Farod's boys off. Hmm. We didn't even to like we held off asking about Farod. Now he mentions Farod himself. Tell me about Sharegrave. He's actually not he's in in a grave at the moment, I think. Shergrave, he's my boss. I never speak with him though. Never even seen him too close like. Keeps to himself mostly and runs things through a few underlings. You can find him in his case at Ragbreaker Square, but I'd stay away unless you got good reason to talk to him. He's a bit peary of strangers he is. Tell me about Farod. Don't know much about the man myself. We spent a lot of time fighting his boys, but they've all suddenly disappeared along with Farod. Spent a lot of time fighting his boys, they suddenly all disappear along with Farod. We still catch the occasional straggler in Rackpicker Squares, but we have no idea where the rest are hiding it. Does he have many men left? He must, because we hear his lord's been real successful of late, finding lot of deaders, making lot of jink of the dusties at the mortuary. Don't know how either, as we have been having trouble finding corpses of late. Okay, so this is something real interesting is going on with this Farod. There is this uh, what's the word? This extended quest line regarding what Farod is doing. Like, I think we initially heard about it from Dahl, maybe where he raised suspicion as to how Farod is getting so many corpses, and that little story thread has been expanded throughout. We've met a person who was in charge of investigating Farod in Gathering Dust Bar. He also does not know where Farod is. We'll probably return back to him once we have met and talked with Farod. But for now, I think if we go back, probably we don't have enough information to say anything to him. He's still in Gathering Dust Bar, I presume. But yeah, once we have some more concrete information, we can go back and talk to him. And yeah, everyone's not everyone, like people who are aware enough have been saying that Farod is getting a lot of corpses. So hopefully we will get to understand why that is the case. Tell me, Sharon, why does mortuary pay for corpses? Keeps the streets of the hive a bit cleaner, I guess. Keeps plague from spreading and the like. So the dusties like to keep the dead in their place too, seeing to it that they are properly buried, they get properly buried, melted down or whatnot, part of their beliefs and such. Looking for a man named Farod, the collector boss. Don't know much about the man myself. We spend a lot of time fighting his boys, but they've all suddenly disappeared along with Farod. Okay, this is Hive Cutter, what we hivers like to call the ascent of sigil. Not that sigils got an end, being round and all, but you know what I mean. Huh. Anyway, north and west here through the big gate is Rackpicker Square, where collectors like me call Kip. Don't know much about the rest of sigil, I'm afraid. I'm searching for a journal. No, no, I'm not. I haven't run across one. Tell you what, though, if I do, I'll hold on to it for you. Thanks. Can you tell me about collectors? Thanks. See this. I'm really interested to know how these dialogue systems change. There is a thanks added. It's also saying I am also looking for a man once his confirmation has been received, right? He said that I'll hold on to it for you. Everything has been attached with the tanks, and this one has been shifted to saying I'm also looking for a man named Farod. Like there is some detail that has gone into this dialogue. Like, yeah, because I don't see this too much in other games. Like we do have options, they keep cycling, but this is like subtle differences in the same dialogue depending on what is said just prior. That's a lot of work, right? So yeah, I'm wondering how it was done. Thanks, I'd appreciate that. Farewell. Mult. He's just a collector, but he has got some unique dialogue. Wow, we can zoom real close. Jesus. There's nothing good to see there though. Even though this is the enhanced edition, it isn't looking too good. Vines with black leaves, the stems look extremely sharp. Vines with black leaves. Okay, what is this establishment? Let's quickly. The flop house. Okay, square. Let's go into the flop house. Let's quick save. Like we have very lax on quick saving. Ah, this guy is here, and another person named Arlo. Nestor. This is a lodging. It's a shared lodging. It looks like double beds. Crazy. Yeah, this is actually a unique, like, I like I like what I'm seeing here because it's very characteristic to to the city. You see a short, balding man standing in what serves as the foyer to this ramshackle flop house. Oh, flop house is actually some. It's not a made-up name. Let me check up what a flop house is. Flop house. A cheap lodging house. Okay. Uh, I wanted to check what a foyer was. Foyer. What's a foyer? A large entrance, reception room, or waiting area. This is everything combined into one. Like this is the entrance, waiting room, lodging, everything. Greetings. Wow, I didn't read the second option. It was an interesting. It said something about hygiene, something something. The man doesn't bother to look up. Instead, he continues to stare cross-eyed down his nose. Yeah, what do you want? Could I rest here? I had some questions. Had some questions. Well, ain't that nice? He flashes your sarcastic yellow to smile, and I'm sure you'll find your answer someday. But I got me a business to run. So if you don't want a bet, then I suggest a pike off. I can let's see. Can I have a bet then? Sure you can, Burke. If you got the jing for it. Nobody puts up here for free except old Nestor over there, and that's only cause no one's addle covered enough to mess with him. Addle coved enough to mess with him. Tell me about this Nestor. Nestor's that balmy old sword in the corner there. He hikes his thumb over his shoulder towards the back of the room. That's watch your step around him. I'm him, Burke. He's not right in the head. Anyways, rattling his bone box about his fork and hole. I wish someone would do us all a favor and gets rid of him. Rattling his bone box about his fork and all. What about his fork? Why don't you get rid of him yourself? You don't think I've tried? I have, and look what I get for my effort. He leans his face forward and points at the bleeding scab on his nose. The balmy sword nearly bit me nose off. I could get him for you. I could get it for you. I'm going to ask this because he was like, yeah, he's a businessman. We're gonna deal business with him. I'll tell you what, Cutter. If you can get rid of him for me, you can stay here for free as often as you like. Deal? Fair enough. I'll do it.
My journal.
Well then, just don't stand around gawking. Get to it. He immediately returns to his scab picking. Can't you see? Wow, he's picking. I thought he was reading something. He's apparently just wasting time. Leave. Let's see if these high dwellers have any unique dialogue. So we write handy hang for nah just to find a 3. Har har har. I've not heard of you, Burke. You were asking around about old Farrowed Eye. If you have yet to find him, try looking north of here in Rackwicker Square. Wow. Really helpful individual? That was unexpected. I don't heard of you, Burke. Okay. Let's talk to Barrier again. Barrier. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yuxev. You see the tall figure of a creature standing before you. The lower portion of its body resembles that of a goat. However, just above its powerful forelegs, its shape takes on more of a human appearance, with a man's torso, arms, and legs, all of which are covered in polished armor. The creature's eyes are closed, and it appears to be sleeping. Let the creature sleep. Ideally, I should let him sleep. The creature snorts briefly, but its eyes remain shut. Apparently, it's not a light sleeper. Okay. Our decision was made for us. Thank you for that game. Let's see if he's... He has nothing. You see an aging man in soiled and tattered clothes, frantically pacing in the corner. His shock of filth Filthy white hair sticks out in every direction, and his face, encrusted with dirt and streaks of dried blood, is covered with grey stubble. Eh, Sorry. Every few seconds he stops pacing and flails about suddenly, muttering and cursing as if assaulted by some unseen foe. He does not seem to notice your approach. Greetings. At the sound of your voice, the old loon whirls around about to face you, his wide, staring eyes bulging in their socket. He regards you for a brief moment, then returns to his raving. No, 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 it's not you. Hoo hoo. But soon, yes, soon. Oh, sorry. But soon, yes, soon. Are you the one they call Nestor? Who are you talking to? The old man seems oblivious to your presence. Hoo hoo hoo. You'll come. Yes, you'll come, and old Nestor will be waiting. Waiting? Yes. He suddenly plops down on the floor as if overcome by exhaustion. Long have I waited. Waiting. He takes a deep breath and springs back to his feet. Wait forever I have to. Do you hear me? Look, Arlo asked me to get rid of you. You're going to have to leave. Are you alright? Are you alright? No, Nestor's face turns beet red and his whole body shakes in protest. My fork. Can't leave without my fork. Hoo-hoo. Fork. Your fork? Fork, fork, fork. Can't go home without my fork. Nestor's frenzy reaches a violent crescendo. He begins hopping up and down manically, then suddenly stops, lowers his head, and runs headlong into a large wooden cupboard that stands against the back wall of the farmhouse. The force of the impact knocks the old man flat on his back. After a few seconds, he stands up, a dazed expression on his face. Gone, stolen, can't go home without my fork. Stolen, you say? Who took the fork? Nestor stares at you for a long moment, then begins rummaging through his pockets of the pockets of his filthy tunic. After a few seconds, he produces what appears to be a dismembered ear. Judging by the stench and color of the ear, you would wager that the old loon has been toting it around in his pocket for some time. You have my fork, don't you? Don't you? Hoo-hoo. He holds the ear close as if speaking to it. Bring back my fork. Maybe I can help you. Wait, waiting. Who? Until you bring it back, then I can go home. This is an interesting situation. And we met a man outside who has one ear missing. I mean, I'm not sure if that's related, but right, I'll try to find your fork then. Farewell.
My journal.
Journal. Nestor's fork. I've agreed to help Flophouse Loon Nestor find his fork. The poor sort seems quite deranged, carrying around a severed ear in his pocket and talking to it like it could hear him. But I don't suppose it could do any harm to look for a fork for him. I've agreed to help the slumlord. I've agreed to help the slumlord Arlo get rid of a crazy old man named Nestor. It seems the fellow has taken up permanent residence in Flophouse and no one can make him leave. Wow. Permanent residence in the Flophouse. No one can make him leave. Interesting. Okay, so we have a new quest. Yeah, I like this area. This room. It was small enough that we could complete it in like 15 minutes.
All right.
Let's go back and talk to the one-eared individual. The one-eared tiefling scowls at you threateningly. Pike off, Berk, or I'll have your guts for garters. How did you lose that ear? Why did you say? His right hand drifts to the hilt of his knife. Just curious. Behind every scar is a good tale. As you can see, I speak from experience. That's a nice way to... I do look as though you've seen your share of slashing. He manages a small chuckle, then runs his fingers across a scar on the side of his head. At least you still have both ears. What happened? A while back I robbed an old petitioner's sword. His face takes on a sullen expression as he begins to relate the tale. The silly blighter wouldn't go along with it. Go on. So I has to get rough with the old sword, and while he was scrapping, he gets a hold of my ear and bites it clean off. What do you think happened? The bummy sword bit my ear off, so I thumbed his skull and put him in the dead book. I'm right, sorry I did too. He glanced around nervously. I think his spirit's haunting me. Haunting you? He nods and quickly traces a semicircle. Ah, it's true. Sometimes I hear his voice in his head, cursing and telling me how he's waiting for me. Scares the pants off me, it does. I'm gonna say this. I don't know what you're talking about, Burke. He glares at you angrily. Now I suggest you get your mangled carcass out of my sight before I carve my name into it. Certainly just give me the fork you stole from him and I'll be on my way. Look, why don't you come clean? You still have one body there left. I'll say the first one. With a flash of moment too quick, he whips his knife from his sheath and begins waving it menacingly before you. Why don't you come and take it from me? Why don't you put the blade away before you get hurt? You sure do have a sharp tongue, Burke. I think I'll cut it. These conversations are like so. At least I feel they're like so. Like you make a single mistake and it just tumbles over. I think I'll cut it out and feed it to you. Okay, knife. Okay, this time I tried. Okay, I was only angry once.
Huh? She has the personality of a patch of razor vine and twice as ugly.
Done.
What?
Yeah, spells. How do you select spell? I don't want to actually select any of these spells at the moment.
Damn.
It's such a simple combat scenario. Maybe when you get to fight a couple of thugs.
All right.
There you go. This fork is definitely no prize piece of cutlery. Its steel finish is scratched and slightly bent. Its tines are crusted with dirt. We quick saved before the conversation, but it felt like we tried, so it doesn't matter. The old man stops his frantic pacing and glares at you nervously. Four, can you? Can't go home without fork. Look, Arlo asked me to get rid of you. Is this the fork you speak of? Nestor hastily snatches up the fork. My fork? Fork, my fork. Hoo. He hops up and down excitedly, waving the fork back and forth in an elaborate pattern above his head, as if he were performing some sort of ritual. Now I can go home. Farewell, hoo. Farewell, Nestor. Nestor turns to leave, then, as if struck with some afterthought, he turns back around and hands you a scrap of something soft and rubbery. The severed ear. Upon closer examination, you notice that there is an earring still dangling from it. Pocket earring, discard the rotting
Updated my journal.
We have inventory at X. Okay. Pet limb, ancient copper earring, amber earring, 1 year's earring, obsidian earring, plus 10% stealth skill bonus. This small earring is made of polished obsidian. Despite the smoothness of its surface, it reflects no light whatsoever. Commonly referred to as a rock's best friend, the black gem this earring is made from possesses magical properties that absorb light, making it easier for its wearer to move undetected in the shadows. Okay. Well, we should put on some sort of earring actually. None of these earrings have any sort of unique properties, except this one has some armor. So we'll put this one on to increase the armor class. We can use this once to see if our copper increases. Yeah, it did increase. I don't know if there's any point in holding on to this, so let's just use it twice. And we get the copper. Oh, and the thing vanishes with it. So I thought we'll still have the earring once we use it 3 times, but it seems like it just vanishes after we use. Yeah, our pet limb and the earring we took from one of the zombies, I think. Back in the mortuary. Oh, he portals himself out. The fork was a portal key, I think, and he just portals out.
I'm gone.
Okay, Arlo, I did your stuff. So Nestor's gone home, eh? Maybe old sword wasn't so balmy after all. He gives you a hearty slap on the back. Now maybe we can all get some rest around here. Feel free to set up keep here anytime, Katam.
Updated my journal.
Nice, nice. You're getting some XP, leveling up.
Hey, we're being watched, Chief. Just look natural. Casual.
Statistics. We can level him up. Level 3 fighter. I was wondering when we can turn him into a different class, but yes, it's just fighter for now. Let's level up. Fighting skills have improved. 10 hit points gain, 2 hit points gain from constitution bonus. Paralyze. Set.
Done.
Your first impression of Mari said he needs a long bath, preferably away from any creature that has sense of smell. You can almost see the stench waft from his body in sinister yellow tendrils. He motions towards you frantically in an effort to get you to come over and talk to him. The Limli mole pass out because of your stench. Approach this person, hear what he has to say. Look of excitement crosses his face as you approach. Thank you for stopping. My name is Mar, and I have a favor to ask you. I'm listening. It's a matter of life and death. I must deliver this ear box, or it would be me head for sure. It's bad luck that I twisted my leg something fierce. So will you help me out by delivering this ear box for me? Mar slowly takes out a small box from within the recesses of his ragged clothing. For the briefest moments, you see a look of regret cross his face. Then it's gone as he looks at you and hands you the box. A slight shimmer surrounds the box as both you and Mar touch it. A sigh of relief is heard as Mar releases the box into your care. What now? This needn't this be needing to be delivered to Kutra. He can usually be found somewhere down the southeastern section of the hive. Oh, and let's see try to say I didn't warn you whatever happens. Don't open the box and don't leave the hive with the box. No, off with you. I'll be back when I deliver the
Updated my
box.
journal.
He 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 he. He just I don't know, was that a cursed item or something? He just handed over his curse. Look at the limb. Uninjured thugs. Maybe these are the thugs.
What's up, Chief? Even 50 swigs of brandy wouldn't make you look good. What's the word, Chief?
Done.
You got you cornered. You got you cornered.
What's up? Imbecile. Okay.
More takes no damage when tanking. This is what we took, but we'll regenerate soon enough. I just wanted to let him tank a bit so that he can regenerate soon.
I'm
Let's
gone.
go back to maybe Maybe the person here, Porphiron. We had a quest for Porphiron, right? No, but that's just beside the bar. It's not these people.
All right.
Porphiron and Porphyra. We backed ourselves into the alley of dangerous angles, which is not where we wanted to go. We want to head bottom right. This is
I'm
where we
gone.
want to go. I think I saw an interesting person somewhere here. Yeah, Reekwind. This is one of the NPCs that I wanted to talk to. Let's see the blue dialogue for a second because there are interesting blue dialogues that people talk if you wait for a bit. Lotus. You gonna a story for Jing? Huh? Okay. This man is looking at you with a strange, bug-eyed stare. His eyes are huge, uh, so huge they look ready to pop out of his sockets and roll. What? Across the cobblestones. He nods eagerly as you approach, bobbing his head like a bird. And as you near him, you suddenly notice a smell of urine and feces surrounding him. Reekwind. Hmm. He reeks. Suddenly notice a smell of urine and feces surrounding him. Greetings. This man sniffles, wiping his nose on his sleeve, then open his mouth to reveal black and rotted gums. Stories for coin, Sarah? His breath, his breath reeks. It smells like this man has been keeping rotten meat stored inside his mouth. Stories for coin? Who are you? The man snorts, thick with phlegm. Names, names. Who are you? Who are you? His head does a slight twitch every time he repeats. Names, dangerous, dangerous. He glances at the ground and stirs the dirt with his foot. Dangerous? Knowing a name or being stuck with one, both's a mess of trouble. He looks back at you. My name is a given name, not asked for. Not one asked for. Reekwind. Once again, you became conscious of his reeking breath and the smell of urine and feces that surrounds him. A given name, a given name, an appropriate name. The name fits you well. Is that your real name? Not my true name, true name. Reekwind mumbles on, his head twitching every time he says name. A true name's a dangerous thing. Gives others power. Dangerous thing. Gives others power. He stares at you with huge eyes and wags his finger. Keep your name secret. Keep it close. Never let it out. Okay. What do you mean? Names are like smells. Things can track you with them. Reekwind cuffs, his eyes almost popping out of his skull as he does so. His cuff seems to loosen his bowels, for he breaks wind loudly, as if to accentuate his point. If someone knows a true name, it gives them power. He licks his lip, the power to hurt. I wish I could have zoomed in on this individual.
Updated my journal.
Reekwind's eyes widen. Seeing his eyeball bulge even larger makes you uneasy. Then you are blessed. Remain nameless, and you shall be as a spirit on the plains, untraceable, untrackable, unseen, undiscovered. He smacks his gums wetly. A name chosen, a name given. It allows others to find you and hurt you. Have you been hurt? Reekwind gives a twitching nod, then scratches himself. Let my name slip once. Once, only once, only once. His eyes film over as if memory is painful, then glances at you uneasily. Tell you the story I can. I will, but 3 coppers must I see. His face splits into a smile as he says the word coppers, and his reeking breath hits you like a hammer. Very well, here's 3 copper. Reekwind gets into a stance, looking looks left, looks right, then faces you. His face clenches, then with a grunt he breaks wind again. The smell nearly level, levels you, but he takes no notice. Cursed die, walk to the. This is a really good description of this individual, and like, yeah, we are not surprised to find someone like him here, right? It's very well written. The smell nearly levels you, but he takes no notice. Cursed. I walk the wards in splendor. He stands up stiffly, nose high in the air. He saunters back and forth, nodding to invisible passerby. It's a whole act. It's not just a verbal story. He's just going to act out all the things. Let me check what saunters means. It's probably some sort of a stance. C-U-C-U-N saunter. Careless, leisurely gait, a leisurely walk. Yep. Cursed die, walk the wards in splendor. Listen. Actually, I think I read. Okay, listen.
Updated my journal.
Reekwind freezes his arms akimbo, crossed paths with a paths with a crossed one. Give me one more second. I don't know what an akimbo is. Use of arms and legs. Bend outwards with the joint away from the body. Okay. Oh, it's just like standing with your arms on your hip with the elbows extended sideways. Sam's akimbo. Crossed paths with the crossed one. Had the looking of a pumpkin. His seeds. Curses. Appear fat. Thrusts his belly out so as to appear fat. Slicks back his hair with his filthy palm so he looks almost bald and begins drumming his fingers on his fat belly. Then he walks about, circling the spot where his stuffy upper class. He then walks about, circling the spot where his stuffy upper class persona used to be. All a jumble with curses this one was. With a sneer and a careless gesture, Reekwind tosses an invisible curse at the stuffy persona. So some unlikable individual approached him when he was walking the streets, and this individual circled around him, looking at him, and then cursed him. Is it? Knew my name. Let it slip. I had. All it took it all. He stiffens up again. inhaling deeply and assuming his upper class persona. The persona suddenly crumbles and Reekwind breaks wind violently, then exhales, filling the air with his foul reeking breath. Cursed with stenches, smells, excrement, came here to tell tales, all good for now. That's all he can do now after he has been cursed by that unlikable individual. At least that's his story. Uh, came to now Reekwind is a name, given name, given name. I see. I had some other questions. We have no idea if he's making this up or this is the real story. Questions. Reekwind hunches over regarding you warily with huge eyes. Answers. Who are you again? What happened to you? I'd like to hear a story. Can you tell me about this area? What happened to you? Let's come back to him. It's the same story. Can you tell me about this area? The hive, a tale I can tell, I will. But 3 coppers I must see. Snorts like a pig. Spireward, he points to his left at the charred alley in the distance. An alley of dangerous ankles. He bends his limbs in a twisted parody of one of the skeletal buildings. Not always angled, not always burned and charred. Once alive, no longer. Flames, fire. He flings his hand up in the air, then waves them to simulate flames. The alley burned, great smoke, ash everywhere. In the end, only skeletons of buildings left. Bones of dead buildings, angles everywhere, angles. Is that why it's called angles? Because the buildings have been burned down, so it's just the remains of the building, right? And they are all angled because, after a building's burned, it's mostly not as round as it used to be. And we did find the Eoskar temple there, so I wonder if it has something to do with that.
My journal.
He hunched forward, his voice a whisper. Again the stench from his body hits you like a wave. Dangerous now. Bad men have set up their keep there. He bows, then breaks wind in quick spurts, like a bugle blowing. This is the tale of how a street become an alley of dangerous angles. How did the fire start? He makes a semicircle over his hut. A man made it so. A beast made it so. A man whom even fiends admire. Who? A sorcerer's tale, filled with madness, sadness, burning, yearning. A tale I can tell. I can tell, I will. But 3 coppers I must see. We also met a bunch of people doing abracadabra there. And a limb appeared and killed everyone. And Rauk was there. Rauk was facilitating the whole meet. Not facilitating, I think he was just a lowly apprentice there. He was scared of, I don't know, he wasn't part of the sorcerers, obviously. He was more of a simpleton. And he wanted his 3 rings. We gave him his 3 rings. And he made friends with the summoned limb. That's what we remember from that incident. Dangerous tale. Very well, here's 3 copper. Sorcerer there was, no simple hedge wizard this one, but a mage of power. Reekwind brings his band together reverently, then smiles evilly. He burned with the art, and the art burned him. We actually have heard this phrase now, since we are a mage. The name given him was Ignis, a man respected, then feared, then hated, then punished. Reekwind gives a rattling wheeze, then claws the air and hisses, apparently imitating Ignis. Respected, feared, hated, and then punished. That's a nice sequence of things that can happen. First, someone's respected to the point they are feared, then they get hated, and then get punished. Listen. Taught by one of the last great magi, Ignis was, and as an apprentice, Ignis learned much, and nothing at nothing at the same time. Reekwind shakes his head sadly. In his heart, his coal-black heart, a fire blazed. It burned, and it hungered. The Reekwind claws at his chest, as if in pain. As it hungered, Ignis hungered. It was his wish to see the plains burn. He was just a crazy person. In the night, Reekwind hunches down and begins to slowly stalk in the direction of the alley. A mad grin on his face. Ignis came to the alley that was to be the alley of angles. and the fire in his eyes. The fire in his eyes, fire in his heart, both he let out. Reekwind points at the alley, then flings his arm in the air, silently screaming and laughing at the same time. Fire in his heart, both he let out. Reekwind points at the alley, then flings his arm in the air, silently screaming and laughing at the same time. Listen. Flesh ran like wax, people like candles, and Ignis laughed. Reekwind crumbles to the ground, his body racked with the imagined pain. Uh, an evil was done, and forgotten not. He stands up, then hunches over, looks left, looks right, then starts mumbling as if secretly in conference with someone. Something was to be done. Be done. He stands up stiffly, his face resolute. The punishment was decided. All the head wizards, midwives, rune tellers, copper pinching witches, all manner of magelings, they came, all, even those with the smallest trace of the art, to punish Ignis. Separately they were flies. He makes a buzzing noise between his rotten gums. Together dangerous. So this person unified all of these different versions of mages and like yeah, because they wanted to get rid of such a disgrace to their art. They were scared probably to get rid of someone like that. He hums, then raises his hand. Court Ignis granted his wish. He swirls his hand as if he wished to burn. They granted it, using his own desire to fuel the casting. They made his body a door to the plane of fire. They intended to kill him.
Updated my journal.
Failed. Reekwind breaks wind again as if to accentuate the failure of wizards. Ignis lived. Only slept. Blanket of flames turned in his sleep as he burned. Never happier. He shut his eyes, wraps his arm around himself and turns slowly. Burning, ever burning. His eyes suddenly snap open. One day he will wake and then the plains shall burn. Okay, that was a good story. Did it, like, we didn't ask, I'd like to hear a story, right? He talked about that when did we ask about, tell me about this area, and then he pointed to the angles and then started talking about it? Yeah, I think that was it. Let's just, yeah, see, it's about the alley of dangerous angles. Can you tell me where I can find someone? I could find someone named Parrot. Reekwind suddenly hunches over and leers at you. He walks around you for a moment, dragging his leg as if lame. A king, a noble tale, a tale I can tell, but 3 coppers I must see. Okay, maybe we'll talk about Farod. Reekwind remains hunched over, staring at you. Once a man of respect, Farod was a man of goals and position. All became nothing, turned to air. Reekwind squints, then breaks wind, filling the air with gut-churning smell. Turn to air and sting. Okay, maybe we'll get some insight onto what happened to Farod. A liar, a cheater, a man who twisted law Farod was. Hunches over as if writing. He hunches over as if writing at a desk. He writes for a moment, then suddenly stops, afraid. Then one day he found that he had twisted himself. You know, my impression of Farod was this like lowly individual, someone like Mr. Reekwind, but probably a bit more tidy and like well kept. But you know, someone who would fit in, but who is a lowly person, who is just one of our assistants, who talk like any of these random people who's barely educated. And that was my impression of Farod. But seems like Farod's a big deal at this point, so let's see. Such a liar he had become that when he died, he was to go to a horrible place. Deacon shakes his head sadly, then hunches over again and looks wildly in all directions. Farod would not accept it. Would not. He had cheated others. He would cheat his fate too. Okay. Such a liar he had become that when he died, he was to go to a horrible place. Farod would not accept it, would not. He had cheated others. He would cheat his fate too. Listen, I actually don't have time for a story right now. Okay, listen. He read, dug in books, and consulted seers. Reekwind talks back and forth, his hand over his eyes as if staring into the distance. And they told him that only in trash could he find that which would let him cheat his fate. Such a liar he had become that when he died, he was to go to a horrible place. He somehow knew this, he had this premonition, or somebody like predicted this would happen to him, and he wanted to change that fate. And changing that fate is primarily like, yeah, someone then suggested that the way to change his fate is to be found in trash. What did he say? Consulted seers. He read, dug in books, consulted seers, and they told him that only in trash could he find that which would let him cheat his fate. Perhaps they lied.
Updated my journal.
Reekwind stands up stiffly, then begins to fling off imaginary clothes. With every piece of clothing he throws away, he becomes more hunched. Farod threw away his possession, his goals, and took up a new title. Threw away his possession, his goals, and took up a new title. Reekwind stops, then leers at you. Reekwind stops, then leers at you. He claws at his rags, shaking them, and became a king of rags. He would rule the trash, have his subjects search it all, and find that which he needed. He looks even now. I have no idea how this individual knows so much, but it seems like a feasible story. Like Farod is out there in the buried village, like doing some sort of searching operation with his underlings, trying to find something in the trash that has been left behind as part of some prophecy to escape his fate. Seems like a nice storyline to have. He looks even now, even now. Do you know where I could find him? Reekwind shakes his head. He lives amongst rags and trash. There you will find him. Find him. See, it is changed to can you tell me about Farod again? Missing a journal. Have you seen one? Breaks wind, then scratches his arms, thinks for a moment, then he shakes it. No journal I have seen. You know, the more unappealing or despicable an individual looks, the more more information they have. That seems to be the general trend in this game. We found that like prediction from Barking Wilder in an earlier episode where he was talking about where we could find our journal. Okay. So now let's ask. I would like to. Okay, let's farewell and quick save. Then I'll ask about his story again. Tell his story again. 3 coppers. He takes a coppers, gums it, then let your supplies. He swallows it. Best purse there is belly. He gives a reeking wheeze. A story. He smacks his lips, scratching his dirty rags. Ignis's tale, alley of dangerous angles, story of how you were cursed. Man who came to the city without name or memory and spoke with the cursed storyteller who warned him of the danger of names. We can ask him about ourselves. Wait for him to choose a story, and he might possibly randomly pick. So let's ask fifth one now. Then next time we can ask him the first one. Reekwind stops stitching and scratching for a moment and stares at you. That tail costs nothing, for it's worth nothing, and it's worth nothing that it would be sad. And if it is worth nothing, that it would be a sad tale indeed. Nonetheless, I would hear it. Where would such a tale begin? Reekwind grunts, then gives a reeking wheeze that makes your eyes tear up. He seems to be thinking. It would begin with a man waking up in a mortuary believed dead, but in truth only his memories are dead. Reekwind notes, then studies you and starts scratching himself violently as if to give himself scars. Dead but not dead. No memories, no memories, no name. He escapes the mortuary, enters the hive, and speaks to a man who let his true name slip once and has regretted it. Reekwind seems hypnotized by your words. Yes, yes, much danger in naming, perhaps. Naming, perhaps. He pauses. Perhaps a man to whom the nameless one speaks is a warning to danger of names. Man to whom the nameless one speaks is a warning to the danger of names. He seems to chew this over. Perhaps he who has forgotten his name is better off. Easy. Is it better to suffer with the truth with all its consequences, or is it better to remain ignorant? Which of the two men is better off? Reekwind gives you a hacking cup, then spits the spittle green and wet, and he turns back to you. It is your question, your tale. He speaks slowly. It is you who must answer it. I want to hear your answer. The man who knows his true name is better off, for he knows himself and is stronger person for it. Man who has forgotten his true name is better off, for he is protected against those that would do him harm, including himself. Why is he protected against those who would do him no harm? Because others would still know his name, right? Where a named man moves, he is followed. When a nameless one moves, his name leaves no trail. I want to hear your answer. Reekwind shakes his head. My answer, he coughs again, belching forth another wave of fumes. He smacks his lips as if trying to drive the taste from his mouth. My answer is this. They are both fools, but only one fool knows himself a fool. Very well. I had some other questions. Like to hear a story? Very well. We are losing a bunch of money to hear some stories. Oh, we can't. Okay. Sorcerer, there was. Okay, just pick the tale of Ignis. Okay. So we talked to Reekwind and got some interesting information. Not sure if it's trustable, but still it was a good talk about Alley of Dangerous Angles. Give me a few minutes. Okay.
Done.
Oh, there is Jedi. We should talk to this person for. And he's up and about. Yeah, this person is who Craddock was looking for. You see a thin man with chain clothes and a hooked nose and two stubby horns jutting from his forehead. He's stumbling about, muttering to himself, stinks of brine, vomit, and cheap wine. The man squints blearily at you. Why is it? What? Are you July? If so, Craddock needs you back at the marketplace. Craddock. Me generous boss. Well, you can tell him this. He can pike off. And that he's a filthy dog, a cur of low sort, and July not working for him anymore. He jabs at you with his finger. Tell him that. I'll tell him from a distance. Farewell. What does this mean? Shall I? Drunk harlot. That's a different one. The woman stumbles into you, then takes a step back, looking up at you with a half smile. She smells like distillery. Greetings. Hello, she waves at you, then breaks into a stream of giggles. Hello, big cutter. He starts laughing again. Are you okay? She squints at you, puts her hands on her hips, and bends over enough to give you a bird's eye view of her bosom. Don't I look okay to you, Cutter? Well, she shakes herself, causing numerous jiggles, then starts laughing again. You're the one who looks to be needing some love and care. She pokes you in the chest with her finger for emphasis. You offering? Yeah, anyway, look, maybe you can help me add some questions. You offering? She gives you a mock, stern gaze. Yeah, I might be. I can picture this mock, stern gaze. Yeah, I might be. If ye be making the right offer. She presses up against you. What'll it be? No thanks, add questions. No thanks, sure, farewell. Let's see where this goes. Sure. Alright, then she stares up, you up and down, then seems to sober up a little. Oh, she's suddenly sober. Nay, I think you'd be more than I could handle, you would. Alright then, add some questions. Okay. Can you taps you on the chest to emphasize it? No. Okay. Looking for someone named Farod. Do you know where he is? Yeah, she is a drunken laugh. Yes? What? Yes? She's sensitive. What's it? Okay, I don't think. She's drunk again. Can you tell me about this area? No. She seems quite amused by the word and taps you on the no. About the city? Yes. Yes, what? Yes. She's very drunk. Never mind. No, you're about to turn away. When you stop in your tracks, you suddenly have a feeling that something is wrong. And with this feeling comes a realization that this woman's drunkenness is just an act. As you take a closer look at her, you see the harlot tucking something into her sleeve. It looks like something of yours. I'm going to kill. Okay, this is. I will miss grabbing her hand. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Bathe the woman. Okay, let's try this. We have some. I don't know if it's dexterity or intelligence that we can possibly get her to. We will kill her after this, okay? You lean in close, laughing along with her as you watch her hand darts into your purse again. Her technique seems to be distracting the mark with her drunken chatter and her bosom while she lifts the coin from his purse. The sleeve of her dress looks to be long and baggy on purpose to hide any stolen items quickly. You make a mental note of her technique, even as her hands make another grab for your purse. Oh, this makes me wonder, the 30 commons that we got from the corpse of that other person might have been stolen from us. We didn't notice the what do you think? We should keep track of this thing. Maybe people will be pickpocketing us, and this number will decrease for the commons in the screen, right? Hey, what do you think you're doing? Grab her hand. This time we have a better chance of grabbing her hand because we know her technique. She pulls her hand back before you can grab it. Her drunken expression vanishes. She starts screaming at the door. All right then.
I feel stronger.
Yeah?
You can level up.
You dog's body.
Well, he got you. You're not running away. You're dying today.
Huh?
Is she dead? She's dead already.
Good as done.
48 comments. We can't, and I'm not sure if that was from us.
Done.
Hey, we're being watched, Chief. Just look natural. Casual.
We should tell Craddock and then get into Smoldering Corpse. Finally, after a long wait, we are going into Smoldering Corpse after this.
All right.
This is where Craddock is. You see, Craddock, his scowl has deepened since you first saw him. It looks like it's about to crack his face into. I found Jelai. Is that right? Let me quickly reduce. Oh, I can't. Truth. He said to Pike. Is that right? Where is he then? He said to Pike off that you were a car of the lowest sort and that he wasn't going to work for you any longer. Okay, now I understand why we said, like, if you say this to a big, strong, burly guy, you should stay far away from him before saying that, right? In case he gets angry and it's a car of the lowest sort and that he wasn't going to work for you any longer.
Updated my journal.
Craddock's face turns a bright red, and his face cracks into a snarl. Damned be his name. May all the evils of the plains bound his footsteps. A blistering stream of insults, threats, and speculation about and speculation about Jelai's family roots issue from Craddock's mouth.
New taunts, alright.
What did Mort say? Ooh, Mort clicks his teeth together. Oh, and as Craddock builds up steam, you can almost hear him taking notes inside his skull. Yay, we are leveling a litany of curses. I was I was thinking we would have to curse, but it doesn't matter who is cursing, right? So as long as we meet these kind of individuals who are willing to curse a lot, more to level up alongside us. Craddock finishes his tirade with a grunt. Damn, that Jelai. You know, I could fill in for him if you need help. I'm in need of a day's work. I'll take Jelai's duties for a time in exchange for his pay. Nice. Craddock studies you for a moment. Yeah? Ha, you couldn't. He suddenly falls silent. Well, mayhaps you can. It's hard work and there's no drinking on my watch. Understood. Let's get started. Oh, wow. The work is long, but at the end of the shift, you are not the least bit tired. You are not the least bit tired. Craddock grunts as you return. You did well enough. Here's your pay. He tosses a handful of coins. Now get. We have no more use for it. 10 coppers? Jesus Christ. Take up adventuring. Like, that's what that's the advice to these people. You'll get so much copper. Can we talk to him again? I think it's completely. Yeah, I think Craddock is, for the moment, his quest line is exhausted. Nothing here. Let's go. I think there's some noise coming from my end. Let me quickly clear that actually.
Done.
Okay, it should be slightly better now. Let me also reduce the ambience, and I don't know how this got tuned like this because it goes so high. Okay, movie, voice, sound effects. Sound effects, maybe we'll put it here. Voice also maybe here. Let's quickly save our game also. What are we now? We are neutral good. Chaotic good. See, our health is slowly healing up after tanking some damage some time ago. Angry Hive Dweller. The, where is Amaris? Amaris used to be here, right? Let's quickly talk to Amaris. Amaris. I hear he spoke to Nad for me. I thank you, Cutter. Of course, but how did you know? I have many a friend in the hive, I do. She winks at you. Again, I thank you. Jesus. Okay. Wash tish. Okay. Couldn't finish the drunken speak. Alright, let's finally go into the bar. We have no idea what's inside. And we are supposed to find some thugs somewhere nearby for Porphiron, right? Okay, let's go. Whoa! Holy Jesus Christ. This is the Ignis that we heard about just earlier. Imagine if we didn't speak to that person. His vents blow incredibly hot air up from the furnaces below. Drusilla. We are supposed to talk to her. Or maybe just peer at this first. I like the music
All
here.
right.
Oh, we can stand on top. This crackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill upon the floor of the bar. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire. Can you do? I need. I can't hear myself think with the music. I need to reduce it actually. This crackling, billowing creature twists slowly about an iron grill upon the floor of the bar. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire form a wreath around this creature's body, and flames lick at the few remaining pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like wax down the creature's skeletal frame. Greetings. Examine the smoldering corpse. The heat The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. To your surprise, the iron grill the creature floats above has sagged and bent from the heat. At first you thought the heat came from the grill, but now you realize it emanates from the creature. As you watch, flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse and float slowly to the ceiling. Greetings. This thing makes no response. It rides slowly within the flames. It leaves, but it does not seem aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds it. Its skin... Sorry. Sorry, what? I accidentally clicked something that's around. Its skin is flame. Its heart is flame. And you know within some shadowed corner of your memory that this thing is dangerous. We have some recollection of this person somewhere from our... Examine the creature. The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. As you watch the flecks of ash drift. Okay. Greetings. Let me reduce the music some more. It's a little dead here tonight, not as dead as a mortuary though. Ebb Creek knees. Ebb Creek knees. Candrian. The sturdy pylon supports the ramshackle roof. Mercy Killer Patron. Dakon. Is his name Zero? Oh? Did you come to watch him burn? This woman is a woman with fading bruises on her face and arms and a look of despairing longing in her sunken eyes. She might have been pretty once, but those days were long ago. She turns slowly to face you. Life pours into her features, and sparks of sardonic light that dances in her eyes now makes you wonder if the eyes were deceiving you. If your eyes were deceiving you. Welcome to the Smoldering Corpse, Scarred Man. Let me quickly check what sardonic means. Disdainful or ironically humorous, scornful and mocking. Sardonic humor, right? It's kind of ironic or mocking humor. And the spark of sardonic light that dances in her eyes now makes you wonder if your eyes were deceiving you. Who are you? I am Drusilla. You must be clueless. Don't ask me how I know that. It just shines off you. Shines. Right. Answer some questions for me. Hi, traveler. What is it you seek? A journal? For sure. I've kept an eye out for all stray journals, just in case some scarred man okay. Everyone's so just in case some scarred man walks into my favorite bar and starts asking about it. Do, do you ask that of everyone you meet? What a fascinating life. You have a smart mouth on you, don't you? Aye, smart mouth for a smart head. I ain't the addle cove you might think, so I got a brain on me. If you're so smart, you should be able to answer my questions. Too bad it's not in you. Farewell. I got a brain on me. Okay. What can you tell me about this place? Here, this is a smoldering corpse bar. Though the person smoldering ain't dead yet. He's just keeping himself alive till someone comes along to help him out. Sword who likes to see people in pain come here. Fiends like it. Folks who don't care much for being bothered come here too. The name alone keeps out most of the berks. Who is he, anyway?
Updated my journal.
The despair you saw on her face flits across it again like a black winged shadow before she masters herself. That's Ignis, one of the greatest wizards ever to come out of this slummy excuse of a cesspool. They caught him and they opened a channel to the planes of fire through him, and now he's just a doorway for it, keeping himself alive by force of will alone. If someone could douse him for a few moments, it'd give him his life back again. If someone could douse him for a few moments, it would give him his life back again. But they don't make enough water to do that. Someone should be able to find something. Ah, well. What's your connection to him? Can you answer this one? Her voice practically throbs with a deep ache. I was Ignis's lover, and he my beloved. He loved the flame more than me, and now he has become the flame. And because I love him, I love the flame. But that's all done with now. Now I wait for him to douse himself. I sell what little I have, just so I can be near him. Hi, traveler. Why is it sick? Okay. Farod, she snickers. The Collector King? You can probably find him and his stinking ilk in the trash barrens on the far side of the hive. Good luck getting any answers from him. He's a sly devil, he is. He straight up says trash barrens, which is the the most straightforward info that anyone had ever given us. Everyone was like, he's in the southwest maybe or in the northwest. Maybe he's in Iraq because, but nobody's seen him. Someone has cryptically pointed out that he may be under Rackwicker Square. I think it was Mebeth maybe or someone else. No one has straight up just said he's in Trash Warrens. He's we went through Trash Warrens and reached Buried Village, but yeah, at least she's giving us a no bullshit answer. Who is that burning by the entryway? Okay, she looked like she's running the place. Obviously, that's not the case. She's here. She's spending whatever money she has, not whatever money, but she's spending money she has so that she can be here around this burning corpse. And she's waiting for someone to douse him so that he can come back to life. Interesting. Oh, could she possibly join us? No, we already have Anna as like a. Uh, oh wow. Okay. Why would they do this though? Dakon is a Gittrasi, one of the title people of Limbo. His skin is yellow and lined. He appears to be old, and I shouldn't have done this actually. Ignis, there's a burning man hovering there over a grill in the Smoldering Corpse bar. His skin bubbles and chars, and flames pour down from his tormented eyes. Yet his expression is far away, almost as if he were reveling in the flames. Jesus. I haven't met this person yet, I think. Dakon is a Kitserai, one of the titled people of Limbo. His skin is yellow and lined. He appears to be old, and pain haunted his small black eyes. He carried a blade of strange metal. We have not really talked to this person yet. And Anna. Oh, there is Dakon there. Just being around him just adds him to the list. So much conversation to be had here. These red hot pipes do nothing to alleviate the already warm air. These sturdy pylons support the ramshackle roof. Okay, we'll continue for maybe another 20 minutes or so. And let's pick a person to talk to. Maybe we'll talk to these two. This is another invisible looking individual here. Candrian and Eb Creekness. Let's talk to these two people. Let's quick save. See a soft-looking man with gentle, far-staring eyes. He dresses in supple leather clothing and carries various implements of use and destruction. About his body, such as ropes, spikes, tinder boxes, and empty vials of air. He looks half gone, literally. There's an insubstantiality to his existence, as if his essence has been partially leached away. He focuses those eyes on you, and suddenly you find them gripping and determined. Greetings to you, Seeker. Greetings. He carefully sets down the mug he's holding and gives you all his attention. I've seen the far reaches of multiverse and returned to tell the tale. I walked upon the bodies of dead gods and spun moonbeams into the astral ahead of 1,000 shrieking Githyanki nights. I have passed the edges of existence and watched my essence shiver away before me. What is it I can do for you? Jesus. That is an introduction. Perhaps I have answers for you. Speak and I shall answer you. I met a woman named Ingress with very bad teeth. She said she had come through a portal from some world that is opened by a tune hummed near two cross trees. Can you get her home? Yeah, it's presented as a first option. We'll come back to that. Who are you? I am Candrian Illborn, traveler, dreamer, tailspinner, and so forth. I think we can just finish the conversation with him in the next 20 minutes. You are a traveler. Tell me of the plains. I am tired, Seeker. So tired. I am fresh back from negation. I will answer what I can for you, but I cannot promise that you will find satisfaction in the answers I give. What would you know? Would you hear of the outer planes, the prime material, or the inner planes? What's the difference? Oh my god, that's the largest block of text we have seen so far. The difference is true essence, Seeker. The inner planes are matter, substance, true physicality. They are building blocks of the multiverse, for it is from them that all beliefs in the elements spring. The inner planes filter through the ethereal plane. the plane of potential, some say, which forms the elements into the worlds of mortals. Once past the ethereal plane, one reaches the prime material, where exist all manner of mortals and monsters and myths and machines. It is there that belief is born, and there that the spirits that create the outer planes are born. When mortals die, they pass through the astral plane in no place that is thought in no place that is thought and mental energy itself. It is in all things and in none. It is paradox among other things, and it filters into the great ring. Do you comprehend so far? You need to read that again. Inner planes are matter and substance, true physicality. They are building blocks, for it is from that all beliefs in the elements spring. The inner planes filter through ethereal plane, the planes of potential, some say, which form the elements into world of mortals. Inner plane, ethereal plane, and once reaches the prime material, where exist all manner of mortals, monsters, etc. It is there belief is born, there that the spirits that create outer planes are born. When mortals die, they pass through astral plane. Okay, great ring. Filters spirits into the great ring. Go on. Now the outer planes, where should I start? Do you know the cardinal rules of the planes, on which planes are other, which on which all others are based? Do you know about the composition of outer planes? Do you know about the do you know of the great ring and its division in our hearts? Do you know of the individual planes? Each of these leads to the next. So it's best to start from the beginning. I feel like it will take more than 20 minutes to finish this conversation. Tell me about the composition. Outer planes are created of and by belief and thought, and the horrible music that I liked earlier does not help right now. So I'm going to reduce it a bit more and just read the whole thing. The outer plane are created of and by belief and thought and faith. They take their imagined form from prime material plane, shaped into forms. Thought and faith. They take their imagined form from the primordial plane, shaped into forms that stagger the imagination built by accumulation of belief. Belief creates the planes. Belief is power here. Change belief and you can change the nature of reality. The creatures that are born here, the plane born, like the fiends and celestials, are truly born of thought and concepts of mortals. They each express some sort of ideal, and the more powerful the ideal, the more powerful the being. Thus, the being that symbolizes love is one of the strongest of all. Prime material shaped into forms. Sorry, belief that creates planes. Belief for change the belief, you can change the nature of reality. Interesting. Often by belief, thought, and faith. They each express some sort of ideal, more powerful ideal. Go on. That's why the powers, gods some call them, live out here. That is where all the faith in them comes. That is where all the faith in them comes. That is where they are at their most pure and most strong. Their realms are extensions of their very being, manifestations of their godly essence, all of it informed by belief. Composition of planes itself is belief. Among the loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive the infinite outer planes. Loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality, the outlands. The spire atop which sigil sits is in the center of outlands. The further one travels away from the soil, the less neutral the plane grows, until it spills into neighboring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the outlands, spinning themselves into law and chaos, good and evil. The great road marks the demarcation between outlands and the gate towns that sprung up around the gates to these plains. Beyond the gate towns lie the hinterlands, uncharted territory that is lost to history, that loses thought. Danger lies in hinterlands. Go on. The outer planes differ by mortality, not substance. Morality. The outer planes differ by morality, not substance. For you, we'll divide the planes into three sets: the upper planes of good, the lower planes of evil, the boundary planes of neutrality. These are then divided further by law and chaos. Within the outlands, with the outlands in the middle, which of these interest you? This is, all of these are like the alignment system we have. It has a like a physical, not physical, but uh, a, a real interpretation in this world. Uh, yeah, and it's the difference. The planes that they talk about, it's not actually a physical plane in that sense. Maybe it's just more of a abstract idea. It seems like the upper plane's lower boundary. So this is good, evil, and neutral. Law and chaos. Divided by law and chaos with the outlands in the middle. Outlands is like uh, law, lawful, chaotic, neutral. Is it? No. Lawful, chaotic, true. Is true what outlands is? The upper planes. Of the upper planes, there are neutral planes, the lawful planes, and the chaotic planes. What would you know? Neutral planes, lawful planes, and chaotic planes. I think this, okay, we chose the worst individual to end our conversation, or like start our conversation with just 20 minutes left. Let's talk about neutral planes. Neutral upper planes contains the beastlands, a place of neutrality and goodness with slight tinge of chaos, where animals rule in eternal noon and night. They hold Bytopia, twin paradise of industry and labor, where all work towards the good of all, and Elysium, the sweetest plane of goodness and calm I have ever come across. Alas, right now I am not well enough to enjoy any of their restorative efforts. What would you hear of now? Lawful planes. Candrian gives a small shudder. I'm not the best person to speak to of the planes of law, he says, for the innate structure and ultimate patterns they impose frighten me. I steer clear of them because I value my individuality more than I value knowledge they'll bring me. They include regimented Arcadia, nearest of the good planes, to the unbending order of Mechanus, and Mount Celestia, home of the Archons, an island in the Silver Sea. So they are categorizing physical locations based on this criteria. Is it this lawful good and lawful evil, and this upper place planes are for good, and first one was neutrality, where people are neither too, they are not super structured, but they are not super chaotic either. So that's a neutral planes, place of neutrality and goodness with slight tinge of chaos, where animals rule in eternal noon and light. They hold Bytopia, twin paradise of industry and labor, where all work towards good, and Elysium, the sweetest plane of goodness and calm I have come across. Alas, now I am not too well enough to enjoy any of the restorative efforts. What do you hear of now? So these are actual physical locations. Is it? The upper planes are the neutral planes of the upper planes. Okay. And now lawful, which he is like scared of because of their order. Rest of upper planes, let's look at the chaotic one. These are where I feel at home, though I steer clear of Viscard. For the most part, the endless battles and tests of metal among the floating earthbergs of the plane don't do much for my disposition. Arborea, though, he sighs, the mountains are taller, the air clearer, the rivers purer, and the game larger than anywhere else. It is true paradise, a place where passions run high and the wine never ceases to flow. When I have recovered enough of my wits and myself, when we have done with the outer planes, you should ask me of inner, and I'll describe my journey to you. I'll return to Arborea's bowers and glads and lose myself for a time. That is it for the upper planes, I think. Tell me of the planes in general. Outer planes, the prime material or inner planes. Let's talk about outer planes. Or let's talk about prime material actually. You want to know of the prime? Visit it. The boundless worlds of that plane have an infinite variety, as do the planes, but I cannot encapsulate them as I have here. Suffice to say, they are the birth of outer planes, the children of inner, and they hold limitless potential within their boundaries. He didn't really give me a good answer there. Inner planes. He sighs as if reminded him of his deep-born weariness. Think of inner planes as a globe. On top of the pole, you have positive material plane. On the bottom, you have negative material. He pauses. Remind me to tell you of the negative. His eyes turn inward to some private horror. From the interaction between two springs all of the urge for existence and non-existence, death and life, actuality and nothing. From them spring the basic elemental planes like fire, water, air, and earth. The para-elemental planes that lie between the four basic elements, and the quasi-elemental planes that come from interaction of the four elements with the positive and negative. Para-elemental is interaction between these, quasi-elemental is interaction between these four, and positive and negative. Tell me of the negative material plane. His eyes cloud over. I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death in life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects of plane with my magic, but I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothing pressed on my soul, and I was beset by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence falling away from me, and even now I am half gone. Never will I return. How did you survive?
Updated my journal.
How did I survive? How did I survive? He smiled slightly with a piece of nothing that held back with a piece of nothing that held back nothing. Nothing can stop nothing, you know. So I carried nothing in my hand to protect me. Do you plan to journey to the ultimate negation yourself? You have the smell of desperation about you. So I make you this gift. Hold it in your hand when shadows press in. And it should protect you and your friends somewhat, should they remain close to you. Eh? He passes you a small black token that looks as if it has no dimensionality to it all. Thanks. Tell me more of the planes. Okay, this is a very fascinating picture that we are getting of the world. You would know more of the planes. Ask and I shall tell the best I can. So we asked about prime material, which I thought was like the physical. No, inner planes was physical reality, and prime material is like all sorts of life, I guess, monsters and humans. And then from life you have belief, and from that springs the outer planes. And these outer planes are split into the six, I think three. Uh, How many variations would there be? 9 variations, is it? Yeah, 9 variations. For outer planes, there would be like 9 variations, uh, which is primarily based on the beliefs sprung from the physical, like no prime material, which is like the life. Let's ask about this again. You want to know about know of the prime? Visit it. The boundless worlds of that plane have infinite variety. As to the planes, but I cannot encapsulate them as I have here. Suffice to say, they are the birth of outer planes, the children of inner, and they hold limitless potential. And the inner planes are made up of. It's pictured as a globe with the positive material and negative material at like maybe top and bottom, and then as poles. And then there is like the four elements, and the interaction between elements produce the, what is it called, the para elemental things, and the interaction between the four and the north and south, positive and negative, will create the quasi elemental. We'll see if these have any more significance than just a backdrop. At least the outer plane seems to have some significance as to how belief structures the world. The kind of, okay, let's not, yeah, let's just leave it here. But it's a very fascinating conversation so far. So we'll go back to outer planes. Uh, Great ring division. Okay, this is a bunch of jargon at this point. We won't understand much here. Great ring divisions. We have to go through these slowly. But yeah, composition. Let's go back to composition. Outer planes are created of and by belief, thought, and faith. They take their imagined form from the prime material plane, shaped into forms that stagger the imagination, but built by accumulation of belief. Belief creates the planes. Belief is power here. Change belief, and you can change the nature of reality. The creatures that are born here, the plane born, like the fiends and celestials, are truly born of thought and concepts of mortals. Mortals. They each express some sort of ideal, and the more powerful the ideal, the more powerful the being. This reminds me of a very like prudent storyline in one of the. I don't want to say which game it is, but if I point it out, that would be a spoiler, right? So it's reminding me so heavily of that particular idea, which it might have. I don't know. This is if this is like in broader fiction, if this is something that's already established. Maybe I've heard that this is a part of D&D world. Just in passing, I've like kind of realized that this exists in D&D universe. Maybe in that case, it has to be within the rules of D&D, right? Dungeons and Dragons universe, right? And is all of this taken from that lore? Initially, my assumption was this was a standalone game with no tie-in to any other lore, but since then I have seen references saying that it is maybe a setting within the D&D universe. If that's the case, all of this lore regarding the planes and inner planes and outer planes must have been established already within the D&D universe, right? Uh, yeah, I guess I'll figure that out later sometime. After I finish this game, because I don't want that lore to interfere with what I am trying to speculate or like understand here. Okay. Anyway, let's go on. Faith comes in its most pure form, manifestation. Great ring. Among the loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality. The outlands, the spire at the neutrality, the outlands. The spire atop which the sigil sits is in the center of outlands. The further one travels away from the fire, the less neutral the plane grows until it spills into neighboring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the outlands, spinning themselves into law and chaos. I don't really know what that. Don't have an image for that in my head at the moment. The Great Road marks the demarcation between outlands and the gate towns that spring up around the gates to these plains. Beyond the gate towns lie the hinterlands, uncharted territory that is lost to history, that loses thought. Danger lies in hinterlands. Okay. The outer planes differ by morality, not substance. For you, we'll divide the planes into three sets. Upper planes of good, lower planes of evil, boundary planes of neutrality. These are then divided further by law and chaos, with the outlands in the middle. Which of these interest you? I have the view of a cylinder in my head at the moment, but it's probably something else. The upper, lower, boundary. So let's go with the upper. We did talk about upper, and we need to check the chaotic ones. These are where I feel at home. It's true paradise. Passions run high. I will return. Okay. Yeah, we looked at the three of the the upper planes. Now let's go to lower planes, which is like the evil place. Sorry. Like the upper planes and lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic, and neutral. Each of them vary in terms of horror and what those horrors do to a traveler's spirit. All of them are best avoided. Which of them would you like to hear of? Neutral, lawful, chaotic. Let's go neutral. The neutral planes, they are vile and barely understandable. They are more insidious on their own than you could ever imagine. Take Gehenna, for example. 4 volcanoes in stage of dormancy, floating in an infinite void, each of them somehow alive, and each of them wanting your soul by whatever means they can get it. Populate it with Yogoliths, the worst of the fiends in my opinion, and you got the place, the plane of ultimate evil. At least that's what they call that's what they call it. That's what they call it. Is the grey waste a no place that drains color from your body? Is a no place that drains color from your body and spirit, stealing away even your apathy. And it's the site of the worst battlegrounds in the war down there. Then you got Carcerai on the chaotic side. The blood war. At the name, your blood feels as if it freezes in your veins. Ilborn doesn't seem to notice, warped up as he is in his memories. Wrapped up, not warped up. Wrapped up as in he is in his memories. we have a reaction to blood war. 2 armies of fiends smashing together pointlessly across the lower planes, slaughtering mindlessly in the name of law and chaos. They'll aggrandize it, of course, but in the end it's about hate and stupid endeavor that aids none and harms far too many. We talked about neutral, right? Neutral was fighting with the Carcerai. Carcerai and its poisonous jungles, acid swamps, destructive waters, strung like a string of rotten pearls nested within one another. Nestled within one another. He pauses, looks at you carefully, again fixing you in place with his eyes. Remember the seeker. Carcerai is a prison, home to the Gehrelets, one of the most dangerous types of fiends there is. The strength of the prison is the strength of the captor. As strong as the prisoner lets it be, the strength of the prison is the strength of the captor. As strong as the prisoner lets it. What? The strength of the prison is. Destroy the prison keeper and a body can escape the red prison. There is almost no other way out. It's a kind of prison. It's a new concept actually. I was trying to relate it to something we already understand as a normal thing, but it looks like this is a new thing that happens in Carcerai where the strength of the prison is in the strength of the captor, somehow just directly related. Destroy the prison keeper and a body can escape the red prison. There is almost no other way out. Not when the gates close themselves against you. Watch you spin off into vast space surrounding the orbs. Be wary of Carcerai. Carcerai, traveler, for its bonds can be greater than flesh. Tell me about the war, tell me less of the lower planes. Like upper planes, lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic, neutral. We didn't talk about. Yeah, let's talk about lawful. As much as I detest the order of the lawful upper planes, at least they present a modicum of goodness. The lower planes counterparts, though, Archeron's a place of recoiling cubes that never see an end to the battle, swarming with the souls of dead humanoids. Bator, he shivers involuntarily. Bator is a place best to avoid. Humanoids. Bator is a place best avoided. Those Batesu, the fiends in the corner there, are but the merest expression of the deviant corruption embodied in that soulless machine of order. If you want more, talk to them, but remember all that is bad about bureaucracy and order originates from Bator, and it spreads like a stain across the hearts of mortals. Though there is some knowledge to be found there, it is rarely worth the spiritual rape the plane inflicts. Tell me of the rest of the. I shouldn't have spoken this out loud actually. Tell me of the rest of the lower planes. Like the upper planes, the lower planes are divided into lawful, chaotic, and neutral. So let's talk about chaotic. The abyss is in some place you should consider going. Where battles or orderly, the abyss is full of chaos and change. None of it's pleasant. When it becomes something that approximates normality, that's when you should be more wary of it. It's home to Tanari, with the most primes called demons, what most primes call demons. And they've got that name for a reason. They're unpredictable and murderous. They've got that name for a reason. They are unpredictable and murderous. And the few that you can trust are few and far between. The few I have met who I would trust, I still don't trust entirely. They are creatures of chaos and evil incarnate. If they are putting on a friendly face, who's to say it's not part of a larger agenda? Okay, we've talked about those three. Now let's talk about boundary planes. There are two boundary planes to my mind. They are diametrically opposed. One of them, Mechanus, a very essence of the law, a place where belief fits together, interlocking, turning in a massive machine. That is the entire plane. Some folk could have it that the gears of Mechanus are the engine that drives the planes. The other plane is Limbo, a swirling morass of chaos that follows no rules, none. And just when a body thinks he's classified its behavior, and just when a body thinks he's classified its behavior, it goes and changes on him, or it doesn't. You just can't tell. I was in Limbo not too long ago. Tell me about your journey. He closes his eyes, remembering. I had a Gisserai guide with me, an anarch who could shape the illogical matter of the plane into forms of his desire. We had thought of harrying of the Sladdy, the chaos creatures who called the plane home. It seemed there were more than usual, but then one can never tell what's usual in Limbo. But I digress. In the midst of all this chaos, we came across a series of huge metal interlocking cubes, like some sort of a puzzle box. It wasn't something we had shaped, consciously or not, and we couldn't find a way inside. It was like a bastion of order within the confines of disorder, a seed of law. That is the best I can explain it. The story stops just there. In the midst of all this chaos, we came across a series of huge metal interlocking. It just stops right there.
Updated my journal.
Boundary planes we talked about. Boundary planes he didn't talk about the true neutral one. I guess that's the Outlands. Everything is like perfectly normal. The Outlands are absolute neutrality. Probably the best place for a body to visit in outer planes, outside of Sigil. If you don't want if you don't want to have a plane's morality forced into your heart, everything balances out in Outlands, as it should be. For the plane that sits at the center of outer planes. Sorry. For the plane that sits at the center of the outer planes. Powers, realms. Give me a second. Okay. If you don't want to have a plane's morality force in your everything balances out in Outlands as it should be for the plane that sits at the center of the outer planes. Powers, everything balances out in the Outlands it should be for the planes that sit at the center of the outer planes. Powers, the realms are scattered about here. There are a handful of gate towns that open in the rest of the outer planes. The gate towns usually mirror the philosophy of the planes their gates open to. And if the balance of the belief isn't kept in town, the town slips into nearby plane. It's a very bad situation for everyone because few of the folks in the town really want that change. But enough of Outlands. What more would you like to know? We talked about all of this now, right? I think so. Let's quickly look at outer planes. Composition, iterating and its individual planes, inner planes instead. Each of these planes impinges on the Outlands, spinning them into law and chaos, good and evil. See, everything is touching the true neutral, isn't it? Yeah. You can jump from any of the ones to true neutral. It's like a 9 by 9 grid, is it? And the one in the center is true neutral. So from any plane, it's it's adjacent. It's bordering the true neutral. Every other plane is bordering the true neutral plane. That's why Outlands is uh, center of Outlands. The further one travels away from the spire, the less neutral the plane grows until it spills into neighboring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the Outlands, spinning themselves into love and chaos, good and evil. Mm. That's why this is true neutral. This is like all types of good, all types of evil. This is lawful uh, neutral and lawful chaotic neutral, and this is true neutral. Scroll back a few steps. You asked about these three. Prime material is something that I was really interested to know, but seems he isn't willing to share that. Okay, let's talk about what do you mean when you mention negation. He sighs cloud. I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting negative material plane in order to understand uh, my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death in life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects of plane with my magic, but I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothing pressed on my soul, and I was beset by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence failing, falling away from me, even though I'm half gone. Let's finish up this conversation actually. We are kind of running late, but let's finish it up. What is this place? What are we doing? What are we doing? I am a fresh back from negation. Oh, negation. Now negation makes sense. And I'm trying to restore my essence before it slips away from me altogether. Hmm. So the Black Rose person is also somebody, possibly somebody who went through to the inner planes and went to the negative plane and like got himself screwed up. She had some other questions. Who are you? What are you doing? What is this place? Unless cosmos has shifted or we have been spun into the mazes, I would say that we are in Smoldering Corpse Tavern. Mazes? What do you mean? Ah, the mazes where the lady dumps those who displeased her. He makes a small semicircle over his heart as he speaks the lady's name. If you know more of the lady and city, find it out or some such guide. Lady dumps people into mazes. People who have displeased her. What is this place? What can you tell me of the patrons here? I mind my own business here, Seeker, for I spend too much time away not minding it. Speak to the bartender if you'd like to know more of his customers. I'm looking for a journal I lost. I have seen no journals lately but for my own, and that has crumbled away into nothingness. My apologies. Do you know of a collector named Farod? Farod grew up to be a collector? How long ago was this? When I set out last, he was but an officious stripling in one of the upper wards. Time does change some people. No, Seeker, I don't know Farod anymore. I'm willing to bet. I don't know Farod anymore. I'm willing to bet. What an interesting individual this Candrian is. Uh, what was I'm going to search something officious. What is officious? Officious. Intrusive in meddling or offensive manner. Intrusive in a meddling or offensive manner. It's just a pain in the butt is what he's saying. Very, very well. I had some other questions. Your journal collection fraud. Okay, we can finally ask this. I met a woman named Ingress with very bad teeth. She said she had come through a portal from some world that's opened by a tune hummed near two crossed trees. Can you get her home? So it seems like now this question makes like asking this question makes so much more sense because we know he's kind of this person who has traveled the world and knows these kind of things. potentially, right? He pauses briefly, thinking, I know the portal of which you speak, though I have not traveled it these 30 years gone. I will take her home, Seeker. Go tell her to await my arrival. Then meet me back here, and I will tell you if I was successful. I'll take her home, Seeker. Go tell her to await my arrival. Then meet me back here, and I'll tell you. Okay, it's fine.
Updated my journal.
Forget it. Farewell. Nice. That was a long conversation. And like we had to talk to Creekneys because it seems Candrian was conversing with, oh wow, he has a knife. Ebb Creekneys. We should do that. And Barkis. Ilquix, Barkis, and Allies. Probably 3 brothers maybe. Dakhon. 0 or O? That's a 0, right? O is more rounded. I don't know. Maybe that's an O. It's difficult to say tell 0 and O apart in certain fonts. I think that's an O. 0 should be even more elongated without the bulge in the sides. It should be an even thickness for 0, right? I don't know. Is there anywhere we can see a number 0? Yeah. You can see it's more elongated. This one's a bit wider in the sides. Anyway, we should yeah, we'll stop for now, and continue talking to the rest of the people in the next session. Okay, so save and create a proper save. All right.